Here we go.
Oh, he's recording.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party. I forgot the Emmys happened.
That is a thing that I also forgot. But this is about movie. We don't talk about TV.
No, who cares?
Forget TV.
What we do in the shows didn't win. I don't care.
Schitt's Creek won everything, though, which is great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, welcome to the party, pal. This is a podcast between us, the Loomer Brothers. I'm Preston Loomer.
I'm Nathan Loomer.
And we talk about movies that we like. And this week, the category that we picked was good sequels to not so good movies.
Yes.
And man, was this list tough to put together.
There's not many, which is
we kind of picked the six we picked are it's kind of it's kind of all of the ones that are available.
Yeah.
We did the Expendables 2, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Birds of Prey, and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. And you better believe I'm going to say that every time.
I know.
Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, Fast 5, and Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Oh boy.
What do we even start with?
Okay, I think we should go on. Which movie do you think is the least likely to have Vin Diesel show up in it?
Oh my God. Oh no. I guess Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan it is. We're going in the order of least to most likely to see Vin Diesel. I don't know why. I just trying to get creative with the order. Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan is, I don't remember what year it's from. I think it's from like the late 70s.
Yeah.
Is sort of a sequel. It's a sequel to Star Trek the movie, which is not so great, and also sort of a sequel to one of the Star Trek episodes from the original series.
Yeah.
But everybody's way older, and if you know nothing about Star Trek, some of this will not make sense.
No, a lot of I had to go look stuff up because I was like, I don't know what's happening.
I've never actually seen the episode of the original series that had Khan in it, so I had to like go watch that because I didn't know.
Yeah,
I knew he was a recurring bad guy because obviously the Wrath of Khan doesn't just like. Well, just start. I
thought like, did they just like make up lore at first, or did they just like throw it in? It's still not my favorite Star Trek movie, which is...
I think the fourth one's most people's favorite.
Yeah, fourth is my favorite.
Let me be clear, of the OG series Star Trek movies. If you count Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, all those other spin-offs, some of those movies are better than some of the movies that we talk about here. But this one's really good. I gotta say up front, like, this might be the best William Shatner performance I've ever seen.
That is the one thing out of all the Star Trek movies, this is his best.
Like I was watching for just, the usual like William Shatnerisms, and they weren't nearly as bad as I thought they were going to be. Like I was expecting him to be way cheesier, and I was like, no, he's really good.
Oh my gosh. He which is kind of a bummer. That's all I think about though. Like before I even rewatched it, that's all I kind of thought about was his performance. I don't think about the other actors who maybe are still a little weaker at times, still a bit TV showy. I guess.
And it's weird. It's interesting because he does a really good job, and then Ricardo Montalban as Khan does a really good job of just being this like, I know I'm better than you villain.
Yeah. Until
he realizes he's outsmarted.
Yeah.
Good. I forgot that Kirstie Alley was in this movie as the other Vulcan, or is she a Romulan? She's one of those races.
Yes, something.
Basically, Romulans are just Vulcans that can get mad every once in a while. That's how it goes. Oh, I was never a big Star Trek person.
No.
I was never like somebody diehard lore, knew all the stuff, watched it religiously. So I know like vague detail. I know what a Klingon is. I know what a Vulcan is, but I don't like.
Yeah, and to be fair, I know Next Generation way better. I think it was on more often.
Yeah, because we were, the originals from the 60s, and we were born in the 90s. So
yeah.
Yeah, Next Generation and then Voyager. I know a lot of Voyager, which is weird because nobody knows Voyager. I do. I noticed this. They said this is the first Star Trek thing that didn't have Gene Roddenberry attached to it at all, and I suspect that may be why it did really well.
Yeah,
because he had a track record of not launching things great.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we picked this one is because the first movie is like the Enterprise goes after this like weird radio signal called V'ger, which they find out is just like the satellite Voyager that got like stuck out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And everybody's just like, oh, that's it? Okay. And it has this weird bald lady that doesn't make any sense. And it's really boring. And then this one comes along and is like, oh, then we're going to just do the opposite. We're going to make this big action-packed. I think Galaxy Quest takes 80% of its plot points from this movie.
Yes, I really think so. And I then thought about the new one, the new Con movie, and how bummed I was.
Yeah, the new one had like, it could have been really cool, but it just didn't.
It just didn't. It wasn't Star Trek. Like, I don't know.
It was Star Wars. It was J.J. Abrams trying to make Star Wars before he actually got to make Star Wars.
Yeah, that's all it was.
And it has good performances, but yeah, this is the best.
This is the one you watch.
If you're gonna watch one original series Star Trek movie, oh my gosh, my dog is chewing
up.
Jody,
get it, boy.
Jody. Hold on, I have to hit him with something.
No, God.
Jody. Sometimes he gets into shit and I don't understand why.
He's looking for food. That's all he wants.
But he's trying to find food in the middle of like the windowsill.
That's where I find it.
That's
that was this. Okay.
Some fun facts about this one. Khan and Kirk never actually meet on set.
Wait, what?
Ricardo, they have those talks through the hailing system. On the
yeah.
They never actually meet face to face. And Ricardo Montalban in one of his interviews said it was the only regret he had about the movie was he never got to actually work with William Shatner.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh great, I gave someone with a squeaker. Why did I do that? All right, there's gonna be squeaking in the back. This is going so well.
Welcome. At least it's good.
The other thing is, I mean, Star Trek, like we don't think about how diverse it was for a show from the 60s.
Yeah.
As a black woman, an Asian man, basically everybody's from a different country.
Yeah.
And the fact that like it has strong female characters and everybody gets a lot of time to sort of flesh themselves out.
Yeah.
Like when you think about when this took place, that's not something a lot of people remember. It's like, oh yeah, Star Trek was super diverse.
And I like the original, at least in the original series, the like their politics, the fact that like there's an episode where Lincoln comes back and like he says some racial slur and they're like, what is that? We don't have that anymore, which is ruined by every other series that has racism in some way.
Well, I mean, they're mostly good. And then Klingons are like the one thing that everyone's like, man, Klingons.
We hate Klingons.
Klingons are messed up. Which is why I like Voyager, because they have a Klingon on the freaking ship.
Yeah.
and Next Generation, they have Worf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, Star Trek II Wrath of Khan is really, really good. Especially when you look at what comes before it and after it.
And after it, it's still we could have watched the fourth or the second movie because
this is the rule with OG Star Trek movies. Watch every other one. Start at 2, then go to 4, and then just skip until you run out. Because it just seems to have this weird ability to not be good on odd numbers.
It's good.
It also is the one that everybody knows, the Khan scream, that I'm not going to do because I don't want to blow the mic out. But it has it's now like a meme.
Yes. And, but no, it did not have, what's his name? Jason Statham in it.
Did not have Vin Diesel. It was Vin Diesel. We could go
oh
with
my
Jason
God.
Statham.
They're the same person to me. I'm really sorry.
Okay, so 2 of these movies have them in them, so we can't say that.
Okay.
No, one of them does. No, he's not in Fast 5. He's in Fast 6.
Okay.
I just watched all of them, so we're going to get there.
Okay.
The other thing I love, too, is they have that black guy who they kill off. And I'm like, they literally put this guy in the movie so they didn't have to kill Chekhov.
Yeah.
Because it's like, he was obviously supposed to. And somebody on the production staff was like, wait a minute. We can't kill Chekhov.
We need him for the next
We need a red shirt.
Oh my gosh.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Anything, any other? No.
Not much. It's Star Trek.
It's Star Trek. It's fun.
You know it.
Yep. I'm going to say that Vin Diesel is least likely now to show up in Birds of Prey.
Okay.
I would say of the ones we've got left. No,
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I lied. Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Are you sure? I'm debating between those two. Okay.
No, I think he could show up as like Bane or somebody.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this is it's
Nightmare on
definitely Nightmare on Elm Street. The reason I picked 3, so the first one's pretty good.
Yeah.
The second one is incredibly gay. That's not me being like offensive.
No.
That's what everyone says.
That's what it is.
It's not as good as number 1, and then number 3 is my personal favorite in the whole series, because it does a really good job of, one, Freddy Krueger is probably the best Freddy Krueger in the series right here. Robert Englund just does a good job. It has a pre-fame Patricia Arquette, a pre-fame Lawrence Fishburne in it.
Yeah.
Credited as, I love that he was credited as Larry Fishburne.
Yeah.
And then it just does a lot of cool stuff with the dream idea. It's not just like weird dreamscapey kind of reality stuff. It's like when you're in the dreams, you know they're in the dreams, and it's really different. And then all the kids get their powers. So good. Now
I'm still debating if I like it better than the first movie, but
it's usually when people rank Friday or Nightmare movies, they go 1, 3, and then New Nightmare, the one that's like meta.
Yeah.
Oh, this duck. Why did I give him this duck?
It is funny though that like, sorry, we just talked about Wrath of Khan. The fact that how many bad sequels are the second one and then the third one fixes like no.
It's so common though. I mean that's like, I'm trying to think of. I always joke about there's the 3 types of trilogies.
Yeah.
There's the Matrix, where the first one is clearly the best one, and the other 2 do not compare.
Yeah.
There's what I call the Lord of the Rings one, where they just get steadily better.
Yeah.
And then the Indiana Jones, where they dip in the middle, and then like jump. And then the Star Wars, which is the opposite of that, where the middle's the best one, and then.
Except for in the prequel series. Sorry, we'll go off subject, but.
Well, prequels are in Indiana Jones series.
Clone Wars, yeah. Indiana Jones. Not bad though. None of them are bad. We'll not do.
Here's the deal. All Star Wars is good Star Wars. One of these days we're gonna do Star Wars.
Yes.
We're just gonna do like all 11 movies. It's gonna be ridiculous.
It's gonna be crazy. But okay, back to our.
Anyway, back to the murder movies.
And I'm sorry I keep going off subject. I don't. Once again, it's not Friday the 13th, which I also hold dear.
Yeah,
I think he's a better villain, but not scarier.
No, I think Freddy's the least scary of all the old slasher villains. Like I think if I was gonna put him, if you think of like, aside from Chucky, who's obviously not supposed to be scary.
Yeah, but he turns out to be a little bit.
He's got some issues, but he's not. No, Freddy's scarier than Chucky.
Yeah.
I think though that Nightmare has the best sequels of all of the slasher, like the sort of what I would say like the big 4 slasher franchises. You think of the Texas, Halloween, Friday.
Yeah.
Nightmare seems to be consistently like they're still not great, but they are better than most of the other ones.
They're still sequels. Sometimes the other ones, go off the lore or like they don't match the other movies. This one, at least you're in the same universe.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, and it feels like it's in the same universe, and it does because they bring Heather Langenkamp back to play Nancy again, and they have John Saxon playing like the third cop in a horror movie that he's like. I was joking. I was like, there needs to be like a John Saxon cinematic universe where he's just a cop. He's a cop in everything.
Yeah.
How many movies has he played a cop in?
Oh man, if they kept it the same name, he's just.
Fun fact: I worked with Chuck Russell, the director of this movie, on a movie in Spokane. Off topic, it's called I Am Wrath. It's on Netflix. It's got John Travolta. My back is in it for 30/100th of a second.
Was that the one you watched the other night?
No, we watched. We just watched My Shots in Z Nation, which is also another thing that we're not talking about. We don't do TV. One day we'll do TV.
Different podcast.
That one, I don't know what we'll call that one, but it'll be there. It's the same podcast. We just talk about TV instead of movies.
Yeah.
We should do it. We should just have 7 podcasts. Movies, music, books. It's all the same.
Yeah.
I think that the dream superpowers they give everybody are really cool in this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way they sort of work in that the kids get superpowers, and then the way Freddy uses their sort of fears against them. to counter their powers.
Yeah.
Looks really cool. Like the girl with the heroin addiction.
Yeah.
Having like the sores that start like wanting the needles. Real nasty stuff. Real gross.
Nasty. It is the, I think out of the Nightmare on Elm Street, it did, maybe it's because I haven't seen the other ones in a while. It was the grossest. Which is weird
it's gross. It's got the worm. It's got the kid with the marionette veins that happens.
Yeah.
Got my dog trying to eat the damn door again.
He'll eat anything.
Duck. Leave it.
Duck.
Go get the duck. Yeah, and it's also got the best Freddy Krueger one-liner in the whole series, which is the "Welcome to Prime Time," bitch, when he smashes the girl's face in the TV.
Oh my god.
It's so, and it what I think it does well compared to the first two is it expands upon the lore. Because for the first two, there's like he's a child serial killer who got burned in a shed, and there's no real explanation as to why he's suddenly like able to invade people's dreams from beyond the dead. And this, that, and the other, and then he shows up, and this is the first time when they're like, oh no, he was like trapped in an asylum, and he's like this horrifying mutation that came out of this woman who got like trapped with a bunch of maniacs, and then it keeps it just base like level normal enough in this one, and then in the next two it goes way apeshit and we like lose track of everything. Classic fourth and fifth sequel. Where
I have not seen those, so I don't know.
They're not good. I mean, like I said, in this series, if the last one was watch every other, and this one's watch 1, 3, skip to New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Which you don't need to see really most of the other ones to understand.
Yes.
And then if you want to have a good time with your brain off, Freddy versus Jason.
That's my favorite.
It's stupid. I love it.
So dumb.
When we do guilty pleasures, that will probably show up.
Yes.
Yeah, I think visually it looks really good. I think it has the strongest cast overall of the whole thing.
Yeah, good cast actually. I was thinking about that. I was thinking like it's not as generic as normal. Like
yeah. And Robert Englund and I have the same birthday, which is fun.
Oh, nice.
Not the exact same birthday, obviously. He's much older than I am. But
oh my god.
That's the one I've always like. When people are like, who's your celebrity birthday? I'm like, Freddy Krueger.
I got the kid from Sky High.
You got Ozzy Osbourne though, don't you?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so Nightmare 3's, I'm gonna say this, and you honestly, because these slashers do the same stupid thing where they're like, remember the last 6 movies? We're gonna sum them all up right now.
Yeah.
But you can legit watch this one almost without watching the first one.
Yes.
Aside from a couple little lore things.
And that's just, it's getting us revved up for the Halloween haul.
Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be spooky movies from here on out until we die. That's it. No more. This is now a horror podcast.
It's a horror podcast.
Yeah. So then, all right, your turn. We got 4 left. Which one is Vin least likely to show up in?
Well, now probably Birds of Prey.
Okay, we're going Birds of Prey.
Which, out of all these movies, was my favorite. Maybe just because.
Yes, this was the best movie that
should
never have happened.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Like, given what Suicide Squad gave us, the fact that they went, now we got the balls to make a Harley Quinn spinoff.
Yeah.
And so get, oh my gosh, it's so damn good. The cast is stellar. Ewan McGregor, I honestly like him, I think, more in this than I do in Star Wars.
Yes, I love him, and he plays my favorite villain. They finally put my favorite villain in a movie. For Batman villain. Black
Mask finally shows up, and he's like bi-curious and really flamboyant, and he only wears the mask like once, but it works.
Yes, and I love it.
Gosh, yeah, no, it's so good. I love the scene. I love too that my wife was talking about this, that the most sexual scene in the whole movie involves a sandwich.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Because that's how you can. She said that's how you can tell it was written and directed by a woman, because the women aren't sexualized, but the food is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which is what I do in real life.
I gave him a different toy, and it's somehow louder than the first toy.
Duck. Oh god.
No, not the rabbit.
Oh dear.
Yeah. No, I there's so much stuff. I think this figured out the tone that Harley needed. Whereas Suicide Squad like was trying a bunch of stuff that didn't work. Yeah. And this one just said, nah, screw all that. And literally like in the first 10 minutes is like, remember everything that just happened? We hate all of that now. That's garbage. We're gonna move on.
It's really weird because I said that when I said I really liked Margot Robbie in Suicide Squad, but she did seem out of place. So
yeah. Like, and I'm hoping she's gonna be much better with James Gunn running the show. Yes, he's good at weird.
I do wish that Will Smith gets his own. I actually really like him as like a.
I love Will Smith and everything.
Anything, yeah.
But I'll watch everything but After Earth with Will Smith in it.
Yeah. I will say I did have a little bit of a hard time learning the other characters just because I don't think I know those super villains.
You do. They changed some stuff like Canary. So Black Canary is actually black in this
Huntress, one. Yeah.
Huntress. I mean, in Huntress you don't see for 45 minutes. Although I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
She's really good.
We've established that from Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
And I love the scene where she goes to intimidate the dude, and then they cut to her in the mirror, like, I'm the huntress. I'm the huntress. Just like I was like, socially awkward superheroes. Let's do this. I thought it was cool too. In the final fight, they show that each girl has a different fighting style. Mm-hmm. Like Harley's very gymnastics inspired and acrobatic, and Canary's like in kung fu.
Yeah.
And what's her, not Rosie Perez, that's the actress. Renee Montoya just like punches the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. I kept calling her Rosie Perez because I couldn't remember the name of the character.
I know right now she's the second question in the comics.
Oh,
she never gets
okay.
to be the question in this.
Yeah.
Question. That's a series I want.
That has to be a series.
I'm surprised he's not in Arrowverse. I was like, that's a character I feel like would fit in that.
Yeah.
We're just going on TV every time now.
That's what the movie felt like. It's all these like heroes that haven't been on screen before, and I want them. Like besides Harley Quinn.
Yeah, it's super fun. The way they cut to the comic book animated footage at times, and that weird Marilyn Monroe scene.
Visually, it's such a good movie.
I think that's the thing that we've been missing with a character like Harley Quinn. Is I was like, oh, they figured it out. She's Deadpool. Like they just had to do kind of what they did with Deadpool, where she's just kind of aware of what's happening around her.
Yeah, and they don't need the Joker. You don't need him with her.
I mean, it worked so good. It worked so well. So we know him. I mean, I'm of the opinion at this point, we've had 4 Jokers in the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Almost a little over 30 years now. Like, let's put Joker away for a bit.
Yeah.
I want to see Mr. Freeze. I want to see Killer Croc. I want to just see them. I'm so excited that King Shark's in the next Suicide Squad. I don't know how he's going to look and work, but he's going to be great.
And more Black Mask because of Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, let's do some prequel stuff, man. Let's bring him back.
I know he's busy. He's a busy man.
Yeah. I know. It just like everything about this movie. I would say I'm going to get all the hate for this. This is the best DCEU movie.
Yes.
Including Wonder Woman. I think it's a better movie than Wonder Woman.
I understand why it bombed or not. It didn't do. It did okay.
It did fine. It just didn't make super much.
Yeah, because it's so. How do you market it? And I guess, although when it came out in theaters, I didn't understand like who was all in it and stuff. I think they blamed the name when the trailer didn't even let me know that like half of the actors were in it.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, Ewan McGregor's in this movie. Great.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Oh, I forgot Mary Elizabeth Winstead's in this movie. Like I would have seen it sooner. Yeah. I actually saw it in theaters, which was great.
Oh, good.
And the other thing is, it was in that time after like Captain Marvel, where dudes were just like, boycott everything with female leads.
Yeah,
especially when they're not like hot by our arbitrary standards.
Oh, and I didn't know that Ali Wong was in this, and I love her.
I forgot Ali Wong's in it. I keep forgetting she's in it in that like dopey part.
Yeah,
I was like, man, make Ali Wong a superhero.
So great.
Sitting there going, there's somebody out there. Ali Wong could be some snarky, loudmouth, like, superhero. Trying to think of who's a good option. I don't have anything right now.
I got nothing. I don't know DC heroes that well.
I don't know enough. I used to know a bunch of them.
That's back when we watched Ultimate Justice League.
Let's make her Booster Gold. Screw it. Booster Gold's a woman now. That's how it goes. Now Ali Wong is Booster Gold. I'm gonna start it right now. In the comments below, put hashtag Ali Wong is Booster Gold.
Oh my gosh.
That one's good yet. The other thing, and this is gonna sound a little sensitive, I was surprised. I laughed way too hard every time a woman got kicked in the crotch. I don't know if that's insensitive, but I was like, they are just as funny as a man getting kicked in the crotch.
Yeah, it's just something about it.
Crotch kicks are just funny. And they are also painful in that way that, like, if they're good, you feel it a little bit. You're like, I've been there. I know that feeling.
It's just funny because you ask when, because I never remember when I got kicked in the crotch. I just know I felt.
You just know what it feels like. Yeah, it's like this bond that everybody has where we just know. We just know the pain instinctually. Yeah, and one, the way they deal at the end of Black Mask, without spoiling it, is so shock and awe funny that you're gonna sit there for a minute and like want to rewind that scene a couple times because it's just like, whoa, oh man. And then I was actually one of the scenes. There's one shot in the finale in the fight scene where they're on the turntable. That spinning scene. There were no stunt doubles because of the camera moves. They couldn't.
Oh my gosh.
They couldn't get the girls like stunt doubles in and out fast enough when you saw their faces. So the actresses did all of that choreography.
That's really
and cool. You can tell because Margot Robbie's double has obviously got some sort of gymnastics background because she can do all these flips and like cartwheels and stuff. And Margot Robbie can't.
Yeah.
And so you watch as Harley goes from like flipping and jumping and twirling to just like, I'm hitting people with a hammer.
So good.
But it's so good and I love it. And I love that they made it an R-rated movie because I think it helps.
Yes.
I don't think it's like something that, I mean, like it needs to be like, let's make everything R-rated. But I think just not having those restrictions of a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
Like there's something about it that like allows you to play a little more. That being said, these are obviously marketed towards specifically like teenagers and probably children in some contexts. So you have to walk that line, but.
Which I forget in my head.
I know. It's, you know, and especially with like the MCU is always going to be PG-13 because Disney won't do R-rated stuff most of the time.
Yeah. But hey, we got Watchmen. So
we got Watchmen.
We got The Boys.
We got The Boys. Oh, I just watched that last night. The Boys.
I need to catch up on season 2.
You do. It's like it's so much better. Oh. Anyway, we're not talking about TV. We love TV.
We're in quarantine. That's all we do is watch TV.
Watch it. I watched 6 Glenn Close movies this week. This is my week.
Oh my god!
And it's Monday.
It's Monday.
Okay, now is when it gets really hard.
Because he'd be in
all of these. I think Road Warrior is the least of the 3.
No, you're right.
I mean, obviously, one of them he's definitely going to be in because he is.
He is in. Which
I'll be honest. This was probably my least favorite of the 6 that we watched.
Yeah,
and you know, I was like, here's my issue with it. If I hadn't seen Fury Road, this would have probably been fine.
I think it's the problem with all of them.
This is like Fury Road on Valium. Yes. It's just like everybody's half asleep. The action's not moving fast enough. The characters are weird, but not weird enough to make you remember most of them.
Yeah.
And Mel Gibson's accent goes in and out of Australian way more in this one than the first one.
No, I still had fun watching it. Like, yes. I mean, and it definitely, although I actually don't hate the first one. Like, I think it's a good setup, but I know it's not, when I was watching it, that's not Mad Max. That's not what it, I mean, it is, but it's not.
And I'm going to be like honest, Fury Road's the best one of the 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like,
there's nothing better.
I don't know why we didn't do that one. We should have.
Well, I think it's because Thunderdome is the best of the originals.
I mean, well, that's a statement.
That's my statement.
Oh man, he's sticking with it.
I'm sticking with it. I'm sorry, Thunderdome it is.
Yeah. I love how it goes from like moderately diesel punk in the first one to like this is so diesel punk.
It's just
everything.
I guess that's the one thing is that this movie gave us like the apocalypse.
I was like, what happened? They made it sound like it was like a year and a half later. What happened in that year?
Yeah.
But then I mean, I think about what we've been living through in the last 6 months, and I'm like, well,
We could have
okay,
got there.
but that's possible.
I should have got an outfit of some kind.
My favorite thing in the whole movie is the Savage Boomerang kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want that kid and everything. That's the best. That was the best. Like, and that scene with the guy like watches the boomerang chop some dude's throat, comes around and goes, "I'm gonna catch it." Like that's the smart move.
That's the smart move. And I think that's the thing is you don't watch this movie for any kind of story acting. You watch it for those little moments.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's most of the Mad Max series. I don't think that they're like deep character study pieces. And they are probably some of the best action stunt work.
Yes.
In the whole like action genre.
Yeah.
And you can tell too that like, I mean, this is obviously pre like super CGI anything. So all this stuff was practical. People jumping off stuff, people getting blown up, cars crashing into each other.
Really glad because they could have biffed the new one. They could have biffed Fury Road if they decided now we have special effects now.
Yep. Donate.
So, I'm glad they stuck with this movie's type of style.
Are you eating fuzz again? He's eating fuzz again.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a
Go
2
grab
second.
him. I'm just gonna sit here. I think there's only like one movie that I've ever liked Mel Gibson as an actor in. So
there's 2. I've got 2.
I got 2.
2. Yeah.
I got Ransom and
I did in Ransom.
I love him in Ransom, but I like everyone in Ransom. That's one of my favorite movies.
That's good. I never knew that.
Yeah.
We had an improv game based on that movie.
Did anybody get it? I don't know anyone who's seen that movie.
Well, it's literally just you just stand in a line and somebody goes down and they just go, "Give me back my son," and they try to make other people laugh. If you laugh, you lose.
Yeah.
No, we had that was that. I like him in Hamlet and I liked him in Braveheart.
Yeah. He's Braveheart. My goodness.
He's Braveheart. I loved his performance in Passion of the Christ as the hands that nailed Jesus.
Nailed Jesus. Oh, so soft. Thank goodness. But he is not good in this movie.
No, he's not great. And I mean, nobody's great. Nobody's given the best performance of their lives in this movie.
They know what they're doing, I guess.
But that's not. I mean, like I said, it's not when you watch it. You don't watch post-apocalyptic action movies for the character study. I take that back. You watch I Am Legend that way, but everything else you watch is like, you want to see the humongous and his ridiculous BDSM like costume. You want to see the crazy guy with the gyrocopter. Whole like, oh, the truck was a diversion because none of the gas was actually in it. Stuff. Spoilers.
You spoiled Mad Max. Out of all these movies we spoiled, that's the one that like no one cares.
The movie's like 35 years old. If you haven't seen it at this point, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I almost called you after I watched it and was like, "Can we just do Fury Road instead?" But then I thought, no, I'm gonna stick with it because like it is a better movie than, and I think the original Mad Max of the like original movies we're comparing these to is the best one by comparison.
Oh man.
Which is saying a lot. And it's not a bad movie either. It's just like it's much more of a standard revenge thriller, whereas this is like, I don't know what George Miller was doing. I don't know where his brain is like, I'm gonna take my cop on the lam revenge thriller and turn it into just post-apocalyptic desert warfare over gas.
Well, I wonder if this is like his original idea, and then the studio was like, "That's too weird." And the first movie did well, and they gave him money for a second. He's like, "Now I'm going to do my movie."
That's probably that might have been what happened. It's probably like when Damien Chazelle pitched La La Land, and they're like, "No, you got to prove that you're not going to like blow all our budget on something stupid." And then he made Whiplash, and everyone's like, "Okay, this guy's good.
Let's give him the money.
Give him the money." That makes sense. I have to look into it more. I didn't actually do a lot of research on that one.
No.
I watched it and I was like, I don't think there's a lot of lore. I'm sure there is. I'm sure that out there somewhere there's some guy who knows every inch of, how like Star Wars fans know every character by name. There's a guy out there who does that with Mad Max. He's like, oh yeah, that's the diesel dozer, and that's the fridge magnet. And
See, Diesel was in this. He was in this.
Yeah, I'm the Diesel dozer. And Diesel's my fourth favorite character in the MCU.
Oh, that's saying something. Oh,
yep. And right, so then obviously the only other two we have are the Expendables and the one that Vin Diesel's actually in. So Fast Five.
We go with the because we go with the one that like how is he not in this? But that's
how is he not in? Everybody's in the Expendables 2.
Yes.
Expendables 2 is an action film starring everyone.
Everyone. It's not
if they were in an action movie between 1975 and 1995, they are in this movie.
I have to pull up the IMDb because I'm gonna forget because I don't.
There's cast and they all have the most ridiculous names.
Yes.
The thing I like about this one, so the first one's like fine. It's like a passable, not great, but you can watch it on like if it's on TV in the background, you'll probably sit down and like pay attention to it for 20 minutes. Kind of an action movie. This one figured out what the other one was and why it didn't work as well and threw most of that out the window and just said, no, this movie knows how ridiculous it is.
Yes.
You have Sylvester Stallone trying to be like build a third version of Rambo.
Yeah.
Because, that's all he does now. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger making fun of his own career throughout the movie.
Yes.
Bruce Willis making fun of his career throughout the movie. Chuck Norris literally stating Chuck Norris facts about himself.
Yes.
And then you have Dolph Lundgren, Jet Li, Jason Statham, that guy from the UFC, Terry Crews, one of the Hemsworth brothers, Jean-Claude Van Damme as the bad guy.
Which is my favorite. I love him.
His name is Jean Villain, like John Villain.
I think the name that I always like, I'm like, is that, I don't know, it's when Jet Li's name is like Yin Yang, which is like the most, it's like Sylvester Stallone just gave up and trying to become.
Well, because let's see, there's Barney Ross, Lee Christmas, which I'm like, what? Yin Yang, because the Asian guy.
Yeah.
God, what are the rest of them? They all have but that's the premise. They all have these names that are just like
and Chuck Norris
McMuscles.
Chuck Norris is just like Booker. It's like,
which is name that's actually Booker was a character he played on something. So that's a reference to just him. And and Chuck Norris, all he does is show up and they are like, wait a minute, what saved us? And they turn and he's standing on a rooftop with a gun, just like I did. Doesn't do anything.
It's because I bet he didn't like. I wonder if they wanted him more in the movie, and he was like, I'm old and I'm.
So Chuck Norris was 72 when they shot that movie.
He doesn't look it. He
does not look it. I hope I look that good at 72.
Yes.
I also answered a question that I had in one of our last episodes. This is the movie I want remade with Muppets. Chuck Norris is himself.
Yes. Oh my god.
I want the Muppet Expendables.
That'd be so great.
Well, and I also love so Jet Li's in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then he's gone. And he gets replaced with an Asian lady.
Yes.
He's in like the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then he's suddenly just like, I have to do something else, and leaves.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they bring in this Asian woman who's just Jet Li as a female.
As a female.
And I was sitting there going, is this because they got a diversity complaint? And they said, let's get rid of the Asian guy over all these white dudes. Like Randy Couture, who's not doing anything. I don't even remember he's in this movie half the time. And, but I was like, or is that the Jet Li didn't want to film another one of these, but had a contractual obligation. So he did the bare minimum.
Yeah. I bet
and got replaced.
So I'm glad the one. It's gonna sound weird. The actor that surprises me in these movies is like Terry Crews. Not because I understand he's a big guy, but he's not an action movie guy like everyone else.
No, he's a comedian. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not what I would know him as.
I actually love Dolph Lundgren in all these.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's given better performances than he should be.
Yes.
Especially as this like Frankenstein monster looking like towering human.
Yeah.
They make the fact, and then I love Arnold and everything. So the fact that they managed to get Arnold back and he just was like, I'll lampoon all of my Terminator history, all of my Predator history. Like, I am Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know that. Let's make fun of it.
His name's like Trench, which is like he's in the trenches. He's been in the trenches.
He's Trench and Bruce Willis is Church.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I don't know where that comes from.
I don't know. He picked his own name. And
I think Stallone just had an action movie Mad Lib and just wrote words down.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, this is the script. Let's go.
This is also the movie that got James Gunn in trouble with his tweet.
Which one?
This is the one where he where he was said he was in the theater and he made the he was gonna sleep with the kid next to him tweet.
Oh man.
This is the movie that got him in trouble.
James Gunn. I mean, he apologized and
yes.
we've moved past.
We've moved past. Give me Guardians of the Galaxy.
As soon as I saw Liam Hemsworth in this, I was like, $5 said they tried to get Chris, and then Thor blew up, and they were like, all right, is there a version of Chris Hemsworth who's a little cheaper?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, half the movies Liam Hemsworth in are because they needed Chris Hemsworth and they couldn't afford it.
Couldn't do it. If we ever do worst sequels, Dolph Lundgren's in what's it called? Kindergarten Cop 2.
No, wait. How do I not know about this? I love Kindergarten Cop. We've done Kindergarten Cop.
That is the worst sequel or reboot, I guess.
Oh my gosh, I have to watch that now.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, poor Dolph Lundgren. Dude has a master's in chemistry from MIT. He's super smart. Well, and he's most known as the Russian dude from Rocky IV.
Well, the problem is that he is a scary looking dude. That's just who he is. And at least Arnold had some lovability in the movie.
Arnold's charismatic. He's a charismatic guy.
Yeah.
And that's what carries him. And I think he just accepted, he knows how to lean into that, this is going to be ridiculous, but I'm going to go for it. Yeah. The only issue I have with this movie really are the scenes where they're we're going to sit and talk for 20 minutes about our lives. And you're nobody cares that Jason Statham's marriage is on the rocks. Just cut to the next freaking gunfight.
I guess that's the nice thing, though, is because we saw, did we see this one and the first one in theater or just the first one? I can't remember.
We saw the first one. I don't know if we saw this one. I think we did.
I think we did. But either way, it's you don't walk away from these movies remembering any of that. Luckily, you just remember the craziness.
This isn't one of those. And I love that they do gun comedy. It amps up the action scenes to be comedic. The scene where Stallone's I got one bullet, make it count, bam, and he shoots the one guy who shoots all the other guys.
Yeah.
And then the guy with the rocket launcher shoots the tank, and you're okay.
Okay.
I guess it's Mythbusters plausible.
Yes. It could happen.
If everything went perfect, that could happen.
I just think, are they really skilled or are they very lucky? is the question.
Well, and the thing too is that the one thing is they do kill that one kid, and it works well in that you forget that these are the Expendables. That's their whole thing, is that they're guys who are literally supposed to go in because nobody cares if they live or die.
Yes.
And so they're now maybe we all want to live, and it's wait a minute. Just embrace it, man. Just be guns a-blazing. 4 of them are done. We have a new cast in the next movie.
Yeah.
I think that's what they should do. They should make it a different cast every Expendables movie. Jason Statham stays on. I love Jason Statham.
Yeah, I do too.
I think he's so good. I think he's good in everything. But I think just he of all of them figured that tonal balance out of when he needs to be a badass and when he needs to just kind of run with the ridiculous.
Yes. And what's the name of that movie? Spy. That's my favorite Jason Statham performance.
Well, okay. Did you watch any of the Fast movies past 5?
No, I only watched 5.
What?
Yeah, it's the only one I've seen now.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that I watched 8 movies in the last 2 weeks?
That literally is going to be the joke. That's why when you were doing it, I'm I'm only going to watch the 5th one, so that's all I know.
Oh my gosh, there's so much lore that I know that you don't know.
I have no idea. Besides, it's just a car movie for me. It's just,
the other thing I'll say, we're back to Expendables 2.
Yeah.
You're going to watch it. You're going to be why did they recommend this? Get to the 3rd act. The 3rd act is when the movie goes from not as good as it should be to freaking great.
Amazing.
And like I said, this is probably the worst of the 6 that we picked.
Yes. Yeah.
But it just is so much fun. I think it's just fun and in the stupidest way.
It's fun.
Okay, that's it. We're moving on. All right, here's the deal. As we've just established, I didn't want to just watch Fast 5.
I can't believe it.
So I watched Fast 1 through 5. And then I got to 5, and then I was so hooked on it that I had to finish the series. So I've seen everything in this series except Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh my gosh. It was actually pretty good, which I was surprised from not seeing the other movies.
It's not bad. Like it's a fun action film. Most of the stunt work is actual stunts this time, which in the last couple they were kind of CG combinations with stuff. And this is the last one. One, I'm gonna say two things negatively about this. One, the writing is awful.
Yes.
Two, this movie takes itself way too seriously for what it is. However, it's like, what did I say it was? It's like Ocean's 11 trying, but like dumb.
Yes.
Like it's like trying to be Ocean's 11, but it doesn't quite have the brains to get there. So it's like maneuvering. But it is literally the best one in the series.
Okay.
It is probably the best performance The Rock has ever given.
Okay.
From all the ones I've seen. And it's just freaking fun. And it's the last time that they go from like this could believably happen. This whole movie, you're like, their car chases and stunts are insane, but like you could see them probably happening. Whereas once you get to 6 and 7, they have cars getting dragged by planes. They have cars jumping off rooftops. They have a car that apparently in the 9th one, Vin Diesel's going to the moon. Like,
so
I don't know what's going on. I don't know how he's good.
So is it like a progression of like bad, and then the movies get better, and then this one, and then they get worse? Like,
No. Well, kind of. I mean, so it goes like everybody's got an order. The first 3 are the worst.
Okay.
Like hands down the worst movies. Some people think 4 is the worst one, but like hands down the first 3, they're just street race movies. They're not all that interesting. They're kind of whatever. They have a different cast mostly in every movie. Like Paul Walker's in the first 2. Then only Vin Diesel as a cameo is in the 3rd one.
Okay.
And the 4th one is Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, and a couple of the other characters, but not a lot of them. This is the first time. 5 is the first one where they bring back Tyrese. They bring back Ludacris. They bring back Sun Kang.
Okay.
Gal Gadot's in this movie. I'm going to say this is going to get me. I'm just crapping on Wonder Woman today. I don't know how she got Wonder Woman off of these movies. She's not good. She is not good in these movies.
That's good though. She's so good in Wonder Woman, but
she's good in Wonder Woman because they figured out how to use her inability to like emote.
Yeah.
I said it. People can hate me for it. I said
it. They couldn't figure it out with Megan Fox, but they found.
And I get a lot of flack. My favorite character in these is Roman, Tyrese Gibson's character, because he just knows the tone. He just knows like, I have to be
my favorite.
I have to be funny here. Like I'm one of the few people who thinks the second one's better than the first one, and it's because Tyrese is in the second one, and he just knows like this is absurd.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna lean into it. That's the thing with these big dumb action movies is like you just need to lean into what you are. You don't want to try and like ground it. And that's why so then they get to 5. 5's the best one. 6 is not quite as good as 5, but still pretty good. And then 7 and 8, they're not bad movies. They're just insane.
Yeah.
The 8th movie, just to get in perspective, has The Rock ice skating next to a tank that he's holding on to while throwing a torpedo from a submarine under the ice that he's skating on into a helicopter.
Oh my gosh.
With his bare hands. Mind you, with his bare hands. And that's what they do with this one is The Rock is like big, but they make him, like a normal guy.
Normal guy. Yeah.
He's like as normal as a guy that big could be. Whereas in number like 8, he picks up like 4 dudes at once and like just hurls them behind him. I mean, it gets nuts.
Love him though. I love The Rock.
It's super. It's fun. And if you like car chase movies and if you like heist movies, this is great.
Yeah, it's fun. That's the main takeaway I got from it. I didn't get too much out of it, but
go watch the other ones and you'll get it.
Yeah, I guess. It
is really. I mean, like I was in the same ballpark. I'd never seen a Fast and Furious movie, and I was like, okay.
I guess the thing is, I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would, which is good. I didn't not like the movie, which is what I was expecting.
Yeah, and I really do. One of the things I like about this one that they don't have in the other ones is that Vin Diesel Rock fist fight.
Yeah,
that feels like a real fight.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas later, like I said, it feels like, oh, it's The Rock. Like The Rock. Let me just put it in number 7. The Rock literally flexes his cast off of his arm. He literally just goes, and then his cast like shatters.
And I understand. I mean, it seems realistic, but I know Vin Diesel will get that crap kicked out of him by the Rock.
I mean, maybe. That's not. It's true. I mean, have you seen that? Did you see? I don't know if you follow him on Instagram. The Rock literally ripped his gate off of the front of his house.
Oh yeah,
because of a power outage.
See that? He couldn't open it.
Not just pried it open, like tore it out of the fixture and tossed it on the ground. I was like, oh my gosh, The Rock is legit scary. That dude is huge.
Huge. Now the question is Vin Diesel better in this than he is in The Pacifier? No.
Vin Diesel's perfect in The Pacifier. Don't you ever just besmirch that movie.
That's probably my favorite movie.
The Peter Panda dance is the greatest dance number in any movie ever.
Oh gosh, everybody, I know we're talking about these movies, but go see The Pacifier.
Guys,
there's a movie you gotta watch. Don't
see The Pacifier 2.
No.
I don't know who's in it, but I know they made it. I saw one though where they had they took the scene of him and The Rock from this, and then they swapped the bodies with The Rock from the Tooth Fairy and Vin Diesel from The Pacifier.
No, I really hate that.
It's so bad, so good. I love it so much. Now this is, I mean, like I said, the Fast and Furious movies are not by any means perfect movies. They're not amazing. They are dumb action movies. But if you, like I said with the Expendables, if you just go into them knowing that they're going to be stupid, they're going to be ridiculous, you're going to watch a lot of cars driving a lot of places that they really don't need to go. It's really, really fun.
I do want to drive after I watch it though. Like I did want to get in my car.
Like we have a stick shift right now, and like every time you gear shift, you're just like, bam, I'm racing now. And if you watch them all in succession like I did, you will cry when the 7th one hits and Paul Walker goes off into the sunset.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like that one really does suck. The movie's good, but like the scenes, you're just like, man, damn it.
Yeah.
I get it now. Anything else on that's it. Nope. Fast 5.
That's it. We did it. 6.
We did 6 bad movies with better sequels.
Yeah. Better. So it's not great.
Yeah.
Not always great.
The point of this was not to do, because we could have done movies with sequels that were better. There's like 1,000 of those. But I was like, I don't want to watch The Empire Strikes Back and Rocky 3 and all these other I wanted to do movies that like the sequel shouldn't have been made in the first place.
Yes. How did
the fact the sequel's there is a miracle.
Seems good.
Cool. I don't remember whose turn is it. Oh, you did the sign off line last time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
but I do have one because I have my favorite.
It's my turn. Save it.
Oh,
save it.
But it's from Expendables 2.
No, I'll say it then.
I'll do it then. Okay.
Is it the Bruce Willis line?
No, it's Jason Statham's one.
Oh no, okay. So mine is the "You've been back enough. I'll be back."
Yeah, okay. Actually, that's better.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! All right, that's all we got, everybody. I'm trying to do a better job of like being a YouTube person. So like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Tell your friends that we're here and we're kind of funny some of the time.
If you don't, I'll beat you up.
If you don't, you can beat up my brother.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, I'll agree, I guess.
I think, you know what, we should just get into a fight with each other. I don't think either one of us would do well.
No. Not what we built for.
No. All right, that's all we got.
Love you. See you later.
Next time.